All right, you guys, that pretty much does it for the PlayStation VR first annual Without Parole PlayStation VR Award Show.
Super exciting.
Jeez, that was so much work.
Yeah, no, there was that too. Yeah.
No one will ever know how much work that all took. But before we even start talking about anything that happened, I just want to give a big shout out, because behind the scenes, it wasn't just me doing everything, and there was so much work involved. I want to thank you. Big shout out to all the developers that spent their time sending us acceptance videos.
Seriously, that was beyond amazing.
Never thought in a million years any of that was going to happen. And then on top of that, thank you to all the presenters from all the other YouTube channels, from our YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for again spending time on a project that is not your own.
No, it's really a statement to like not only how awesome this the games are, this platform is, but how awesome the community that we're a part of has become.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is the one exception. We rail on and on about how bad like online communities are in general, but this is just the fact that like all these different people with their own their own channels, their own stuff they should be promoting, are all teaming up together to talk about this thing we love. It's fantastic. It's just love everywhere.
It's amazing. Yep. So thank you to everyone. It was awesome to come together as a community. All the game cats, all the headsets, all of the I don't know what are gamer tag fans called?
Tags.
Skin tags.
I was trying not to
You're
go there.
You're adorable. All of you. We love you all for real.
I'll never have you removed.
So, in lieu of this great celebration, yes. I think it's only fitting that
after party.
Well, this is sort of the after party. Obviously, we're keeping an eye on all your comments as we go. Thank you so much for being so active during the entire thing. But I do want to say, before we dive into all the categories and all the surprises and all the upsets.
Yeah,
that's a sports thing, right?
Were they upsets?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Whatever.
No, this is a sports thing.
I wasn't upset.
No,
I was pretty happy the whole time. The deal is that like a lot of this came together last minute, right? There was no way I could have planned for how much work this was going to take, right. And so there are certain things that happened. There are certain even when it came down to the categories themselves.
There was a lot of last minute like, oh, we can't have that as a category, can we?
Oh no, I had people re-vote on 2 different categories. A lot of last minute changes and stuff, and also the fact that we couldn't get all of the audience to vote was a really big disappointment for me, and I know a lot of you were disappointed in that too. But lesson learned. Lesson learned. Now I know that I have to start this weeks ahead of time, so next year. Next year.
Yeah, good thing we have it like 364 more days to plan the next one.
Yeah, that's not actually how it's going to work. Oh, man.
Is it October already? Crap!
That's how it's going to work. Absolutely. So let's jump right into this and let's talk about all the different categories.
Okay.
And what happened. So Michelle was out there and she was presenting the award for Best Launch Game.
Best launch game, yeah.
Dude, launch games. It's like 2 full years ago we were playing these games and we're still talking about them.
Yeah, well, there's some of them that just nailed it right out of the gate. I mean, Job Simulator for me is still to this day my go-to, like, oh, you've never tried VR, you're not really a gamer, here.
Yeah.
It's well done. A nice sense of humor to it, a great sense of immersion. You can interact with everything.
You can pick things up and throw them.
Exactly right.
I love that.
It passes the Brian Paul test. So right out the gate, I mean, it was fantastic. It showed a level of control of the medium that even games 2 years later still haven't figured out.
Yeah, and games like Eve Valkyrie, when you have a $60 AAA game by a huge studio. Immediately you're like, wow, maybe that kind of legitimizes the platform on day one, So it was a little bit funny to hear people going, oh, there's no big games. I was like, well, no, on day one we had a bunch of them.
Yeah, my neighbor with the VR, this is still like one of his favorites.
Yeah. We were talking about how Batman nailed something at launch that almost no other game had nailed yet.
Yeah, there was like the first team to figure out that, oh, you can do different things with the space in VR than you can in other games, and make it work.
And of course, Until Dawn: Rush of Blood was the winner.
Yeah, no, and rightfully so. Again, this is just came from out of nowhere. If you had told us, a year before it came out, that the guys who made Until Dawn were going to come out with like the definitive shooter for VR, that was like a nonsensical sentence.
Yeah, everything leading up to Rush of Blood was we were like, this is going to be awful. This is going to be such a cash-in title. I was like, Until Dawn's not a big enough franchise for this to be a thing, and as it turns out, it's still one of our favorites.
Yeah.
And then we had God Cannon. Wow, God Cannon's the man, he came out and he did a category that I think you have to do for PlayStation VR games, especially when you're talking about the first 2 years.
Because like every other week you were just tripping over a wave shooter. It was just
So best wave shooter.
Okay. And spoiled that.
And of course at launch we got Brookhaven Experiment, which was great. Especially if you like scary theme games like me. And then Raw Data was like our big
sci-fi
budget one.
sort of.
Yeah. Blasters of the Universe had a good sense of humor to it.
Yep.
And then Shooty Fruity had Killer Fruit.
Right, and like I said, it's the panic attack simulator. You have to shop and shoot at the same time, and
it sounds like the worst job ever.
Oh, it absolutely is, but a really fun game.
Yeah, and actually, a little peek behind the curtain. Shooty Fruity got my vote.
Yeah, absolutely got mine as well.
But that was not the winner.
No.
Blasters of the Universe, and I gotta say,
deservedly so.
Oh man, yeah, Secret Location absolutely killed it with that. All the customization, the awesome sense of humor, the bullet hell gameplay.
Yeah.
We still to this day have not seen that style of gameplay done well.
So any of you who are wondering if like we put our thumbs on the scales, obviously Brian and I, our choice was Shooty Fruity, and hey, the masses have spoken.
I voted twice for Rush of Blood. Best horror game. This is my category all over the place, but we let Dave Station do this one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dave Station, for sending us that pretty awesome video. And the options I could have gone on all day. The original list I had to try to figure out what nominees were going to be on this list was like 7 games long.
Yeah.
And to pare it down to The Exorcist, Transference, The Persistence, and Resident Evil 7 sucked because... Unfortunately, I think it's kind of a no-brainer.
Oh, yeah.
Transference is an awesome game. The Persistence is an amazing game. The Exorcist is a really scary experience. But Resident Evil 7 just kind of has it all.
And I think it's saying something that, like, the 3 games you just mentioned have all come out, or Exorcist 4 and 5 and Persistence, they've all come out within the past, like, month or two.
Yeah.
Like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
And they're all just trounced by a game that came out,
it was like 3 or 4 months after launch.
Yeah,
it came out January.
I keep thinking it's a launch title, but no, it wasn't. It was right after launch.
Yeah, and boy, again, always amazing to see a AAA game by an amazing developer. I'm really sucking up to you guys because we really want Resident Evil 2 in VR. And then, of course, Gamertag, our good buddy Gamertag, did...
With his skin tag fans. That's a thing now. Get used to it.
I don't think that's a thing, man. I feel kind of bad now. He had...
we love you.
This category, I feel bad for the other contestants in this category because he did best multiplayer.
Yeah.
And any time, we had Starblood Arena, which has been... always in our top 10 lists.
Absolutely.
White Moon Dreams killed it with that game.
They did, yeah. And it's just... And again, speaking as someone who like has motion sickness issues, somehow they nailed moving around that space without getting dead sick, which is right. I mean, for me, right there, award winning.
Yeah, no, for real. We did a Why We Love episode on Rec Room recently, and we both came around on that. Like we love Rec Room.
180-degree turn.
Amazing. Battlezone, that's a game that I didn't get into until later. It was a solid year after launch that I started playing Battlezone seriously.
Yep.
Absolutely love it. But when you're all competing against Firewall 0 Hour, which is like, it's everybody's favorite game right now.
Again, came out less than a month ago now. No. Yeah, about 2 months ago.
I don't know, I'm bad at math.
But... and completely swamped just everyone's discussion of VR, of PSVR has been Firewall. So
absolutely, I mean, there's no better excuse to crawl out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning and shoot your friends online,
or crawl out of bed at 3 in the morning and get shot by your friends online.
That's more what happens to me for sure. And then next up we had the king of all VR kings, the Sofa King himself, do the best move support. It's only fitting because for like the first 2 years he only had one move controller. We finally hooked him up with the second one so that he could play all of these contestants, Super Hot VR, Hop Along the Badlands, Star Trek Bridge Crew, and To the Top.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, my vote didn't win this one either.
Okay.
Because I have to say, Hop Along the Badlands. You couldn't wipe the smile off my face. One of my move controllers was a stick horse, and I'm doing this, and I'm shooting bad guys going around. I'm like, how can that not win? It didn't even come close. I think I was the only vote for that one.
Yeah, that's okay.
What did you vote for?
My vote was Super Hot.
Was this supposed to be a confidential ballot? Or are we not supposed to be telling who we voted for?
I think at this point it's a little late.
Doesn't matter?
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, it sells a little bit more of the reality. If we're saying, if we're voting for the things that didn't actually win, then yeah. But yeah, Super Hot, it was one of my first experiences with VR that made me think, oh, this is a thing.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can actually be in that space, moving around, and it actually made me a believer in the move controllers, because before that I was pretty notorious in the channel before VR for crapping all over the move controllers.
Yeah, kind of a little bit. And I do have to give a shout out to the Top. When you learn how to use the move controllers properly in that game, a lot of people when they first try it, I remember I was watching Michelle play, and she's like trying to grab things and launch off things,
right.
And man, it's just like such subtle wrist movements. It's like because the tracking is so precise, that you really don't have to do a lot. It's just like quick little wrist movements, and man, you're flying around that obstacle course like nobody's business. All amazing games. This is why this was so difficult. And then next up, we had our friend CJ and Beep over at PSVR World do the best sci-fi category.
Bum.
And as much as we love Chris and Beep, I hated this category. This was a category that I had to create to say, these are games that have to be recognized, but I can't get them into the show any other way.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of texting back and forth, like how do we fix this? Because we had already sent out some of the ballots for the other one, so we couldn't redo the whole list. So yeah, so it's kind of a fudge, but we really, we had a lot of love for these games, and like Brian said, we just think they needed some recognition. Yeah, and and honestly, I got to be honest with you. The fact that Farpoint won made me so happy, because I remember when we first made this category, and I was like, if any PlayStation VR award show that doesn't have Farpoint win at least one award is a failed award show. And when all the votes finally came in, this was a close call. Okay.
This was a really close call, because Star Trek Bridge Crew almost took this one.
Yeah.
This was within just a couple of votes, and I was like, oh man. I was like, and Bridge Crew's amazing too, and didn't win anything.
And that would have been my vote. I think
Bridge Crew, in a perfect world, if we had more entries per category, Bridge Crew would have been in the running for best multiplayer. It would have been one of the 5. But Firewall still would have taken it, and Bridge Crew still wouldn't have won.
Yeah,
it's crazy to think about these things. There's no way for that game to win.
But it's just with the original that came out with the original Star Trek, the original Enterprise Bridge, and then the Kelvin Timeline Enterprise, then the add-ons, the next gen stuff. Man, that's just it broke my heart. But you know what? I get it. Farpoint is a great game as well, and. Yeah,
we did our due diligence. Bridge Crew got nominated twice, which very few games get nominated twice.
And Apex Construct. Oh my god.
And Apex Construct.
Oh my god.
And that like got one vote.
Yeah.
And that sucks, man. But that just proves how amazing the competition is when Apex Construct, an amazing game, like barely got any votes. Then we had Seraphim. Seraphim's video was awesome, and he did best physical workout.
Woo!
So up for the title was Spark, which. Come on. There's still sweat on my floor from the 6 months I played Spark.
He's not exaggerating.
No.
It's kind of gross.
I put a pizza box down. Does that not count for... then Creed, which is,
still very physical, very moving around, but not quite the full gracefulness of Spark, but that's okay.
Nope, definitely not. Sprint Vector, which I don't think there's any gracefulness in Sprint Vector.
No.
And I had muscles hurting in my arms and upper back that I didn't know existed after like a couple days of Sprint Vector. But man, nothing gives you... Sprint Vector was amazing.
It was.
Like we're not just going to give you, like racing, but we're going to give you climbing, and we're going to give you sliding and everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy crap! In a perfect world, Sprint Vector would have also been in the best racing category, but there's only so many slots.
And of course, there's Knockout League, which I think some of it's. I the wind is getting knocked out of its sails a little bit by Creed.
Yeah.
But it's a very different thing. It's not a boxing simulator. It's
Punch Out versus Fight Night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's arcade versus simulation.
Yep.
And
but still a hell of a workout.
And a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We love all of these games, and that's again the problem. Creed. In case you weren't paying attention earlier, Seraphim deemed Creed the winner. I didn't tell him who the winner was.
Yeah, can we check those ballots again?
The votes. This was a landslide. There was nothing came close to Creed. It was, I think, Knockout League maybe got 1 vote, Sprint Vector maybe 1 vote, Spark. I think you voted for Spark, and then it was like 18 for Creed. It was ridiculous. Right. Best racing game by our buddy Nat over at 7 Degrees of Gaming. Oh yeah, okay. So he did best racing game since we just brought it up. Wipeout a Mega Collection, Gran Turismo Sport, Dirt Rally, Drive Club VR.
That's really tough competition. Or it sounds like it should be really tight competition. There's 4 fantastic games, but
well, I mean the winner obviously was Wipeout a Mega Collection, which is insane because it's not the most realistic. I think that would have to go to Gran Turismo Sport.
This is true.
It doesn't. It's not an actual car racing game,
right? And it's not new.
It's not new. In fact, it's a VR patch that we got for free.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think many of us expected it to be this good.
Yeah, but I think as we've said in our reviews when we covered it for Why We Love, it has delivered on the promise of VR. Absolutely. In a way that many other games haven't. It's like, we were thinking back in the 90s when you thought about what people were going to do in VR games, this was what you pictured.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Racing around zero gravity tracks and blah, 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 and twisting roller coaster, amazing.
Crazy weapons, awesome soundtrack. Yeah.
Absolutely. My vote actually went to Drive Club VR because it's on sale right now and it's like $4. It's so good. it's blurry, I know, but man, full grid of racers, tons of track variety. I love it. And
almost turned off 2 completely different people to VR entirely.
Listen, I don't think my mother counts as a potential fan.
Okay.
You, however, do.
Yes.
Next up, we had Polish Paul, another awesome presenter. That's not how you pronounce things, but that's perfect.
Presenter.
Because Polish Paul probably didn't pronounce anything right either. This was best puzzle game, another very difficult category.
Yeah,
and he actually addressed in his presentation how difficult it is to classify a puzzle game. Because the ones we have here are so different from each other.
Yeah, well, I'd even say we've got Expect You to Die, Moss, Tumble VR, Static. I mean, what do these 4 things have in common? Not a whole lot,
except
really.
that they're kind of puzzle games.
Yeah. I mean, Moss is a platformer, but it's a puzzle platformer, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Tumble VR, again, it's more of a physics-based puzzle, but still puzzle. Static, of course, as I said many times, is the game that turned me on to VR because it used it in such a brilliant way. And I Expect You to Die is what happens when you have a professional making a game. Yeah,
it really shows. Shell Games is awesome, and I hope we see more from I Expect You to Die, that team.
Yeah,
but I mean, and actually, I'm a little bit surprised, to be honest with you. I really thought Moss was going to take this one, but Static by a landslide. So, I mean, way to go, Tarsier.
Yeah.
I mean, it is still one of our favorite games.
It really is.
Yeah,
just the knife edge between creepy and funny that it plays the whole time. Moss is a brilliant piece of art. It's a fantastic game, but for just a pure puzzle experience, I gotta go with Static too.
It's insane. It's the game that justifies the DualShock 4 existence in virtual reality.
Yeah, literally.
it's perfect for PlayStation VR.
Yeah.
Next up, we had Dave Station, our friend Dave, do best horror game.
Crap. Skip ahead.
We already did that.
Okay.
All right. Next up, we had you.
Yay!
You were the presenter for best use of VR.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you take care of this.
Well, I was gonna say this was also one of my favorite categories because the thing that excites me most about PSVR is the new tools it's giving developers and storytellers. Mm-hmm. Because there are a lot of games, and some of our favorite games are just ports of flat games, or just games that are built kind of like, oh, it's this kind of game but in VR. This is the category for the people who are trying something new, to make new experiences that could only happen in VR. So we've got Pixel Ripped, Super Hot, The Invisible Hours, and Detached.
I mean, it's so crazy that the Invisible Hours didn't take this. And the fact that there's a non-VR version of Invisible Hours now is even crazier.
Yeah, and this is a game, I will wave the flag for this as long as I'm able. I mean, not only it's taking you like every other VR game, well, most of the VR games, like, oh, the way to be immersive is to give you a first-person perspective on the story and make you part of the story. No, this makes you immersive by doing the exact opposite, pulling you as far removed from the story as you can. You can't interact with anyone. You can't do anything to change the story. Yeah. But still, it ends up being incredibly immersive and engrossing because you're experiencing this world in VR.
Yeah, Tequila Works absolutely killed it.
Yeah.
And I really think that Anchar Studios killed it too with Detached. I've gone on record in my review even saying maybe it's not the best game. There are some game design issues in Detached.
Yeah.
But man, oh man, it's definitely a best use for VR because for the first time ever, I felt like I was floating in zero gravity. I mean, I don't know what real astronauts feel like, but I bet they feel a lot like this.
But I think for popularity or for creativity, it's absolutely deserved by Pixel Ripped.
100%.
Just the idea of like, oh, we're going to take this brand new cutting edge technology and make you play an 8-bit game.
Yep. Right.
But making it work, and just it's such a love letter to gaming of all generations, and I think at the end a really deep, really personal story.
I think so.
Yeah.
So, awesome category. And then we had John Riggs. Thank you, John Riggs, for being one of our presenters. I think the most famous person on our show tonight.
Hey.
You're not famous. I'm not famous. No one has any idea who we are.
That's true.
Nobody.
I did have someone at the restaurant the other day, so I was like, do I know you from somewhere? Like, oh, I saw you at first night. I was like, yes.
Oh, that was close.
Yeah.
All right.
Why are you here?
So John Riggs did for us the most immersive world.
Boom.
Now, this category, to peek behind the curtain a bit, actually took the place. Originally, it was most jaw-dropping graphics.
Jaw-dropping visuals. Yeah.
Jaw-dropping visuals. And I was like, man, how do we do a VR show without doing the most immersive graphics? And so we had to change the ballot a little bit and give you different options to vote from. But I really think these are the 4 most immersive worlds in VR. And that's
absolutely
Skyrim, Astrobot Rescue Mission, Moss, and Robinson the Journey. I can't say that Robinson would have found any other home in this, although when I went back and played it recently, still one of the most visually stunning, immersive worlds on PlayStation VR. It's definitely, everybody should be checking it out. And it's funny that Moss made this.
Yeah, well, I don't think... I think this kind of goes to my point about Invisible Hours. This is a game that, because of the level of detail and care put into building the world, that even though you're not playing it as first... Although, I guess technically you are playing it first person because you're the first person ghosty thing.
It's like
reader.
half and half.
Right, but the world is so well realized. Quill's animation is so lifelike and graceful and real that you're immediately swept into being in this real world. This is one of the only games that I've been playing, and I like stood up and kind of cowered my head because I thought I was going to hit my head on the ceiling. That's not there, and if that's not immersive, I don't know what is.
Absolutely. And then Astrobot, I mean, like, it's so funny, man. So funny to be putting Astrobot in a category with Robinson and Skyrim. But holy crap, man. Like, I mean, for a cartoon world, like, I mean, how immersive is this cartoon world?
The fact that, you're playing a platformer and having to get up and out of your seat and look around and turn around corners to see, again, very similar to the Moss situation. The level of detail and care put into building the world immediately tricks your brain into thinking you're actually there.
In building a world with so much depth.
Yes.
Like you having to look straight down to see a part of the level, or like, kind of like looking to see up to see a ledge. You really couldn't have done it as well on any other platform.
Did you start breathing funny the first time you went underwater?
I didn't.
Okay.
But I did when the first time the wave came off of me. And it left the water on my face. That was the first time I'd ever seen that effect done well.
Yeah.
And I thought the seaweed was hilarious.
I did too.
Yeah.
But of course,
I mean, if Skyrim, I think the scale and scope of Skyrim's world, graphically it's beautiful, especially now that they've really put some extra polish into it. Bethesda killed it, man. They managed to get all of Skyrim into VR almost perfectly. Yeah,
and one of the first times I was playing it here, and when it first came out, and I just walked around and looked up and saw the moon. I was like, oh. oh, that's the moon. That's what it looks like when you look up at night and see the moon. Yeah. Oh my god, it's just
the first time a dragon swoops down from the sky.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh wow, I didn't think this could even be done in VR.
Yeah, it's I mean, Skyrim, like, okay, it's not news to say Skyrim is a great game, but transporting over to VR was more than just adding a little check mark and saying, oh, now it's in VR too. It totally changed the game and raised the bar for everyone else.
Yeah, no, for sure. So congratulations, Bethesda. And then finally, the best overall game. I presented that award. And man, and this, I got to say, this one surprised me too.
Yeah.
Because I really thought any category that Firewall was going to be in was just going to take it.
Yeah.
I was like, it's almost unfair. And in fact, when we limited this to 12 categories, one of the ones we had to cut was best aim support. Because again, I was like, well, Farpoint's there, but there's no way anything's going to win against Firewall.
Right.
And, we want Firewall to get all the respect and all the accolades it deserves.
Yeah.
But when you have to cut a category that has like such a clear-cut winner that you're like, nothing can compete.
Right. And don't get us wrong, Firewall is a great game, but, we want to try to prevent like one game from sweeping everything because, it may, well, anyways.
We wanted to, here's the thing, and it's been said more than once tonight.
Yeah.
It almost doesn't matter who the winners are. Because these are the best of the best. These are.
We're not giving out the cash prizes?
There are no cash prizes. There's no cash to give. If you're a developer and you get recognized on tonight's show, unbelievable. Yeah. Like that means you're the best of the best. There are a couple hundred PlayStation VR games now, and it was so hard to narrow it down to this list that so many of my favorites didn't make it even as nominees.
Yeah, it was really brutal making these choices.
Yeah. I mean, so even though Firewall deserves every single accolade it gets, somehow it didn't win best overall game.
No. Of course, it was going up against Skyrim, Resident Evil 7, and Astrobot.
This was the biggest surprise to me.
Yeah.
The biggest surprise, because again, I thought Firewall was going to take it, and almost unanimously, Astrobot Rescue Mission took it.
Yeah, that's
landslide.
That's interesting.
So exciting though too.
It is, yeah.
It means that people have a wide scope of interests. Yeah. It means that you guys are out there. You're like, oh, we wanted our military shooter game, but then you tried this third person platformer. Yeah. Throwback to N64.
Totally silly, like goofy platformer. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, this is amazing.
Of course, it also could be availability bias, but
maybe who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I mean. Absolutely, everything about Astrobot Rescue Mission makes me smile.
Yeah, no, it's just a brilliantly made game. It's taking generations of learning how to make platformers, taking that knowledge, but also taking the experience they've had in bringing those things into VR in a colorful, fun, silly, and really compelling package. Yeah, it's tough going up against. I know it probably hurt you very personally that it beat Resident Evil 7. But
no, it's one of those things where even though Resident Evil 7 will probably always be my favorite, other games are going to come and go and maybe quickly take the first place from it. Resident Evil 7 is always going to be a favorite of mine, but it made me so happy to see here's something that I did not expect to win, and man, did it ever win!
Yeah,
like by no contest. And again, that team over at Japan Studio, you guys are incredible, and we can't thank you enough for bringing such an amazing game to PlayStation VR.
Yeah.
Yep. And PlayStation VR is getting exclusive after exclusive after exclusive, and as much as we want all VR to succeed because we really think it's the future of gaming, it's kind of cool to see PlayStation VR
actually doing it.
Really, like just in spades, just like in every single category, another amazing exclusive.
Right. And I'd love to find like the few people left still in the press saying VR isn't a thing. Like sit them down, let them play Astrobot, and then ask them later. Okay, really, it's not a thing. It's a perfect example of how great the medium can be.
Absolutely, I think that pretty much sums it up.
Yeah.
Awesome, Des. Thank you so much for hanging out
my pleasure.
and doing this post wrap up show with me.
Yeah, and get all snazzy.
Yeah, we did. I haven't worn a jacket in a long. This isn't my jacket. I don't know. I found some guy on the street corner. He was like, "I'll trade you this." Guys, thank you again. You guys are absolutely incredible.
Actually, I think that jacket performed for garbage.
Yeah.
Yep. That jacket opened for garbage. Yeah.
There's a litter box episode about this. I just know it. Guys, thank you for hanging out with us all night long for the award ceremony. Thank you to, again, all the presenters. Thank you to all of the developers. Congratulations to all the developers that won, and thank you to all the developers that sent us. I was going to say participation ribbons. That's not it at all. Acceptance videos. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, it really means. I mean, from a personal perspective, it means a lot that you actually took the time to kind of acknowledge that. Hey, we're your fans, and we absolutely love what you're doing. And just the fact that we're giving that feedback just means so much.
If we were a channel that had millions of subscribers, we kind of like expect it. But the fact that we've got 20-something thousand, it means a whole lot. It means that you really do care about your audience.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Cool. Well, thank you so much, guys. And so stay tuned because next year this is going to be bigger and better than it was this year. I mean, fingers crossed. I have no idea, to be honest with you.
Pyrotechnics.
That's right. Have an awesome night, and everyone drive home safely. No drinking and driving.
No, never.
Do lots of drugs, though.
Well, just don't drive.
Bye.
Bye.